Hello, 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 my beauties. Welcome to this live stream, and welcome to those of you from the future who did not catch the live stream, but you are here, you are present. So, welcome, welcome, welcome. Let me close some tabs, and I want to invite you as I do that to do the same and just get comfortable. This is not going to be a long live stream. Um, Even though I enjoy them, I enjoy watching and listening to long live streams. Um, I was listening to one with Stephanie Perry, and she was on a cruise. And so it was just fun. I think it went on for 2 hours, and she's just talking and getting comments and all of that. Hi, reading space, welcome. So it's not going to be 2 hours by any means because I actually have to go and teach my mindfulness, soulful mindfulness program in about 45 minutes, actually, exactly. So, but I am here, I am live. You see what I'm going to share with you, and I want to get your feedback. Okay. I want to get your comments, your feedback. All right. I want it to be really interactive. So, just giving a couple minutes for the YouTube algorithm to try to get the signal out that I am live. All right, get some water, get some tea. We're going to talk about the eclipse. So let me, before I say anything, actually, it's nice to be here. You guys know I've been kind of trying to take a break, which doesn't mean I'm not doing anything YouTube related. I'm like studying YouTube and all of this. But anyway, what do you guys think about the eclipse? Again, my channel is for spiritual women. And so I'm sure you've had some thoughts about it, whether it's just like, oh, I don't care. But what are your thoughts about the eclipse on Monday? Okay. Let me know. Just start typing in the chat. Share with me what you are thinking. Okay. And I'm going to share, I'll start a little bit while I wait for any comments. One thing I've noticed that I literally was not connecting with the eclipses, but I have not been sleeping well, maybe just the last 3 days. Okay. And I am really sensitive to like cosmic stuff, you guys. I swear, I'm not making it up. I am, but I didn't connect it. What it's been is like, yeah, my mind is so active, right? Which is usually when someone can't sleep. But it's not like I'm tired and can't sleep. It's that there's just like this activation at night. So have you been having that at all? Let me know. Hey, if you're just joining, and welcome from the future. So let me know how you're doing, what your thoughts are on the eclipse, type it in. And there is a delay. Okay. I have it set that there's a delay. I want to say that actually it's a 2-minute delay between YouTube, like you typing on your phone or whatever, and it coming over to StreamYard, which is up here in the corner. That's who I use. That's the tool I use. Okay, so reading space, welcome. Nice to have you here. Another comment, reading space, yeah, says, exactly. That's why I wanted to get on. And I know this stuff, but so many things can stop us from sleeping well, right? I have some stuff going on that I don't think I'm going to share with you because I want to stay kind of focused. But so it's hard to know, like, okay, why am I having trouble sleeping? Was it sometimes even for me how I ate? Like, is it too much, too close to bedtime? Little things like that. But yeah, so you haven't been sleeping well either. Yeah, a lot of energy. And I do not want to get doom and gloom, but just stick around. I want to share my thoughts, my insights. But like I said, you know me, I'm not going to, there are YouTube channels that literally thrive on scaring you. That's how they get more views. I am not that type of channel. Okay. I'm just putting that out to you, those of you who are here, truly. But I just got to share what I'm feeling. I want to know what you guys are feeling as well. Okay. So do let me know. Have you been sleeping well? And if I'm not live, I put it in the comments because I want to know. So I'd say the last 3 days I've not been sleeping well and just active, like energy. Yeah, just energy, energy, energy. Okay. So let me start sharing a little bit and then I'll mix in some of what is happening for me. But like I said, I want to know in the comments, in the chat, how you guys are doing. Okay. So apparently this solar eclipse on Monday um, on the 8th, which is interesting. And I'm gonna try to channel this a little bit. So let me just tune in. Because right before I said that, I got the 8, it looks like the infinity symbol, right? If you turn it sideways, it's the infinity, right? This endless loop, right? And so that's just interesting on this day. So the last solar eclipse to cross the US until 2044, this one that we're going to experience, okay? Another thing that yeah, so I'm getting out of channeling into personal. You guys, I'm like 90% totality. So the eclipse is crossing part of Mexico. It cuts across the US into the Northeast, and I am in the Northeast, right? And so, oh, wow. Okay. Oh, thank you, Reading Space. I didn't even get that one. Okay, let me put that up. So I am literally almost in totality. Now, what I believe, many others believe this as well, it's just, to me, it's common spiritual sense. I'm not going to say common sense, it's common spiritual sense that if you're in the path of an eclipse, right, you have a more direct um, impact, right? Like it just makes sense. So it's the same thing. Like if there's a car crash and you're in the path of the car crash, that's different than if you see the car crash or whatever. If it's something, but you see it up close or you see it from far. Okay. So I am so close to the totality, you guys. So a friend of mine, to tell you a story as some other folks come in, a friend of mine wants to get in the car and drive to where we'll have totality. And I wasn't paying attention, right? So I'd agreed to do this. And then finally, I was like, you know what, this isn't feeling right. And I'll share with you what I think we should do during an eclipse versus what we should not do. So anyway, they're going to drive an hour. Like I'm so close to totality. It'll just be an hour or maybe less where we'll be in the total path of the eclipse. Like I'm just outside of where it is. And I take that as good news. I am happy to not be in the path of totality, okay? But it cuts across the United States of America, all right? And it's the last solar eclipse, apparently, until 2044 that will cross the US like that. Um, okay. I do not automatically think eclipses are bad, but like most spiritual traditions around the world, you guys know I am a humanist. I draw from all spiritual traditions. Most spiritual traditions view eclipses as times of having a slightly negative connotation and obviously very powerful. Okay. And it's not just because they didn't understand scientifically what it was. Because I think there are different levels of knowing. Okay. Let me know if you're following me. There are different levels of knowing. Like we're like, that's why it happens, because that's what science says. But all different peoples around the world had their understanding as well and their explanation. So I just want to share one thing. The Western astrology, everybody's like it's in Aries, 19 degrees of Aries. Okay. But in Vedic astrology, it is in Pisces. Okay. In the sidereal zodiac, it's in the sign of Pisces. And in a nakshatra or a part of the sky called Revati, which is usually considered a good, has to do with abundance. It's a positive, like literal slice of the sky. But so I'm going to cut to the chase. What I think you should not do, and I would not recommend, is to go out and view the eclipse. Let me know if you're planning to. Like I said, talk to me, talk to me. I want to know what you think. Of course, you can do what you want. My, really closest friend is going to go sit in her car. She said if it's raining or whatever, she's like, well, we'll be there. And I'm like, well, if the weather's bad, she's like, we'll sit in the car. I'm like, we're going to drive an hour to sit in the car to kind of experience like darkness. Anyway. So what do you guys think? Are you gonna go anywhere, and were you planning to view? I don't recommend viewing it, as do many ancient spiritual traditions don't recommend being outside in a solar eclipse. It's a very powerful cosmic event, right? That is literally just bigger than us as humans, even though, of course, we are spiritual beings, but it is a huge cosmic event. To go outside and the energy of like partying and having hot dogs and like, ooh, and barbecuing, like that's not the energy, my people. Okay. That is not the energy for this eclipse. All right. So I really wanted to get on here and just share that with you. I would not recommend intuitively, my research and my deep intuition is like, don't go and put the glasses on and be out in the direct effects because it's very, very powerful. Hi, Gregory. Hey, welcome. Welcome. Let me know, were you planning to do that? Were you planning to do that? So I do not recommend being outside looking up at the eclipse. Okay. I was sharing with another friend of mine who is in New York City, and she was talking to someone, Native American, and they were like, yeah, no, it's not like we're going to be inside. We pray, we like honor like the beings, the sun, the moon, like this of like living beings, the cosmos, the divine, but it's not, it's a very powerful time. It's a time to, and this is because I'll cut right to the chase, stay in, stay inside. If you're a spiritual person, especially if you're sensitive, stay inside, pray, meditate, quiet activities, okay? You're still going to have the effect of the eclipse, right? But you don't want to be out directly in it, okay? That is what I'm recommending to you. Yeah. Vedic astrology. Listen, I'm telling you, I have had readings, different people, right? The Vedic astrology, goddesses, the Vedic and divine masculine, the Vedic astrology is so accurate because as I understand it, and I'm not an astrologer, but as I understand it, they literally they map the sky and the planets where they actually are. Western astrology is actually off now. Like literally it's following like a fixed um map of the planets versus the Vedic is like, okay, wait, it moved. Like it's adjusted over thousands of years is what I'm saying. I have found it very accurate. That's why I'm going with that. Okay. Going with the Vedic. And so in the Vedic astrology, it's in Pisces. Anybody want to share what they know about Pisces? Um, very, very spiritual sign. Stay in, meditate, do your inner work. Okay. Is what I recommend. That is what I recommend. Hi, Angel. Hello, hello, goddess. Um, well, the not to be out, like I said, Wild Harmony is that it's a very powerful, and I know one Native American person, I'm not basing it on that only, but it confirmed my feeling. It is a very powerful event. And I have when I was, oh gosh, I think I was in my 30s and I was at Kripalu Yoga Center, which is where I studied yoga. And there was one and everybody was excited. I was just really like, bleh, right? But everybody's outside because it's on a hill and everybody had the glasses. And I was like, it's an eclipse. I'm like, oh, okay, it's an eclipse. I don't know. I wasn't, and it was spooky as all just, I was like, there was an eeriness, and I think they say the birds stopped chirping. I just know I felt the eeriness. The darkness was a strange darkness, as you can imagine, right? It was like, it was weird. It was like, it's dark, and not because I knew it should be day, but the light was different. And there was a real sense of like everything kind of stopping. So if you want to go look at it, go look at it. Um, but again, it's like I would liken it to if you see a tree fall, which happened to me recently, which was really weird. It was like a year ago, but I saw a huge part of a tree, like not just a little branch, a huge part of a tree snapped and dropped in front of me. And I was like, whoa, and nobody else was around. Okay. So if you're in the path of that, or you're near, you could have gotten your leg broken or even something hit you in the head, right? But I was far enough away. So I saw it, but I wasn't directly in its path. In the same way, I just feel like it's such a powerful event that it's like, to me, it's almost like people watching a nuclear testing. Of course, very different, man-made, but it's such a big cosmic thing. So I would research it more, Wild Harmony, and do what you feel, do what you feel. But what I am suggesting is, so everybody says this, you cannot go wrong by be meditating, meditative, or praying. Like you're not going to mess up being in that type of space. Now, there's a little bit, if we want to get into some more specifics. Angel, I would say it depends. That's a great question. No. I think it's fine. Wait, let me put your question up. it didn't. There you go. If the eclipse is literally happening in your area at that time, then I wouldn't do the walk. Exactly. So like if the eclipse, I think for me, it's like at 3 something in the afternoon tomorrow. Okay. Eclipse day. I think the totality is at that time where I am. So yeah, if I went for a walk in the morning, no, that's fine. It's just like literally when this event is happening. Angel, have you ever been in one? You look young. You probably have never experienced it. It feels weird. It feels very, it's not like a hailstorm. It's so you're like this is so weird. Like I said, the light is different. I think it got really quiet when I experienced it because I do think I've read the birds like animals are kind of like what the fuck, like what's happening, right? And it's just very dramatic. So I wouldn't just be like strolling. I just wouldn't. But that's only I'm saying that during the time it's happening for you, right? Oh, you have? Okay. How did you experience it? So yeah, so if it's so just don't do it at that exact time. Exactly. Now there are different eclipses though. There's partial. Have you ever been in a complete? Because I think it's different. It feels different. Angel, I'm curious. And anybody else, have you been outside? Have you viewed them? Have you felt them? I mean, they say, like when you do it with a group, I remember there was like a euphoria afterwards, right? So what do I mean by that? I remember like we watched it. Somebody must have given me the glasses. I don't know. I didn't have the glasses. Somebody gave it to me like, here. I'm like, okay. I'm like, okay, is it safe now? I looked up. And so it's weird watching it through the glasses, right? Because anyway, so then afterwards, you kind of feel euphoric. And I think that has to do with the fact that you realize like you survived. I think that's a primitive response where you're like, whoa, some really weird thing happened, but I came through it. Because people were like giddy. They were like laughing and like, oh, it was like something had, yeah, something big. Yeah, was it 2017? I think it was. I didn't pay much attention, but our total, yeah, is around okay. Yep, because yeah, it's around 3 something. So I'm just saying that the time from it starts covers. I wouldn't be outside like trying to barbecue and be like, oh look, honey, there, look at the eclipse is happening. Look, Tommy, look up, just kind of take it as a spiritual break. Yes, I think 2017 there was. Yeah, Gregory says, yeah, it was 2017 as well. No, it's nice to get you guys feedback. So I don't know what I was doing then. I don't know. And I'm truly hoping it's just like primal fears, but I'm going to share with you my thoughts. I was reading a lot of different places, doing some research, and just I meditated today. What I don't like is the way the path of the eclipse, so it crosses the US and supposedly tell me someone I don't think I confirmed this. They're saying the previous eclipse, some, like doomsday person is saying the previous eclipse went like this way, like south, like that angle, and this one's definitely going that way. And they're like, it literally forms a big X over the US. Now I don't know if that's true. I don't know if that's true about the first one. I know this one definitely is going like from Mexico, like Mexico's down here, California, and then it's like zipping across America up to the Northeast, right? So there's out on the interwebs that it forms a big X across America. Yeah, the reading spaces says it really does. Because which eclipse went the other way? The lunar one reading space. Anyway, all of that to say, I'm just obviously there's a lot going on. I'm feeling like there is going to be a little bit more turmoil. So, like I said, I'm not trying to scare anybody. I'm not having like nightmarish dreams or anything, but it's just a sense. Even the fact that I'm not sleeping well around this is strange. I don't usually particularly can't remember like having, you know, difficult sleep around an eclipse. So my fear is we've got an election coming up. We know we've got a lot of people all heated up. Um, we've got Israel and Palestinian. We've got Russia with Ukraine. And then also there's some like horrible war also in Africa that has, I'm not even going to say because I don't know that to be true. The specific, I was going to say about a specific group. Hey, Percival, do you want to come over here? You wait till I'm live on YouTube to start destroying. 33 degrees reading space. Do you do astrology? Do you mean like, and NASA confirms the 2017 solar eclipse, and yes, it makes an X across the states. So the combining the 27, okay, because I wasn't sure which two eclipses they were comparing, is what I'm saying to both you guys, Reading Space and Wild Harmony. So it sounds like Wild Harmony, you're saying, yeah, the 2017 one went in one direction. Okay, and this one definitely has a particular path that, like, I know, like, I believe. So yeah, to me, I mean, come on now, it makes an X. An X is, it's like cancel, so I do think that clearly, also I believe America's going through what's called a Pluto return. I've heard, and someone explained it to me, and then what I had literally been having the same exact thoughts without knowing the astrology. This idea of Pluto representing the kind of the darkness, the unhealed, right? The parts we don't want to face. And look at it. A lot of the tension is around race, power, equality, equity. Um, and so, and this is what Spirit was showing me at the time. Maybe this is 2 years ago now. I got that, like, America doesn't want to deal with, like, its demons. It doesn't want to deal with its demons, right? I mean, America rose to be a great nation very quickly, um, on the back of, like, a lot of atrocity, right? And we're all here now. But there's a sense that America still doesn't want to deal, acknowledge, heal what happened. And that would be the Pluto return. And so the person was saying to me, if it doesn't, then it goes really negative. Okay. It's almost like, say you committed a crime and you come out and you're like, you basically repent. You're like, I know I did this, I harmed so and so, it was wrong. You fully own that you did it, and maybe you try to do what you can to fix it, right? That would be a positive way to deal with what happened. But I don't feel that. What I see is more division in America, and I do feel it being stoked. I do think powers that be are stoking division, which is what I don't understand why many people can't see that. Because if you have people like here fighting amongst each other, the people who are more like, and I hate to use the word elites, because I think that can be used negatively, and like training us to like regard somebody smart or educated as like bad. So there's definitely issues with that. But I'm talking like the super elites, like, multimillionaire, billionaires, and so on. If people are fighting, they're distracted. Okay. If they're fighting, they are distracted. If they're fighting, they're distracted. Right? They're talking about inflation, and he did this, and he messed up, and he's a horrible president. Oh, and now he's going to be better, but he's going to do this, and it's your fault that it's all of that infighting. Right? Everybody gets bloodied. Everybody gets bloodied except the people up at the very top. Okay. And you guys know that I'm not very political. It's not a political channel, but this is spiritually what I feel is happening, is people are being turned against each other. You should also know that my dad was very biblical and would just quote Revelations and drive me and my mother crazy. He would. Wow, Civil War movies. Yeah. My dear friend who passed, Wild Harmony, he's like, I can't watch this type. He goes, I just feel it. They're like telling us, they're like programming us. This was before people were even saying this. He's like, when I watch these type of movies and I see it, it seeds in your brain like, oh, this is going to happen. Oh, the rise of, and then you start being fearful. And this is what I want to warn you all of. This is coming to me. It's really one of my core messages. When you get very afraid, you're easier to control. So never, never, never in all of it, try to keep a handle on your fear. And I'm saying that to myself as well, because when people are fearful, you can control them, right? If people are scared, what do you think happens? You give them a solution. This is a solution. Let me run everything, right? That's the solution. When people are very frightened, you can tend to get into like totalitarian regimes. This was not even what I was going to talk about, but this is the truth, right? When people are afraid, look at history. When they're really, and when you give them an enemy, the enemy looks a certain way, or they have a certain religion or a different language, right? They may look like you, but they're that tribe, and their religion is this, and I'm that. And then once you get people going at each other, you have control. And then a totalitarian leader, typically a male, just saying, will come to power, because people are like, we need somebody strong, and at that point you may indeed need somebody like strong to control the chaos, to control the chaos. So I'm just saying all of that, that can all still be happening. This is not spiritual bypassing, okay? Because what this is when the powers that be want to get us very, very frightened, so they have control. So what you have to do is, I'm not saying don't pretend things aren't happening. They are happening. So you see them like in your peripheral vision, but what you want to maintain is your peace. Maintain your peace. And this is very hard. This is like a spiritual battle. It's like spiritual warfare. And I do think of some movies that I think have, that I like, that have like good messages, or like, and I think I'm thinking of Lord of the Rings and some of these battles where, like, is it Gandalf? Because sometimes it's like you have to, they show it as a battle, but it's like these forces are trying to make us think and believe and act a certain way and hate certain types of people. And then you have to almost be so strong to like you push back. The battle is that you're like, nope, I'm not, I'm not going in that direction. I'm not going to really become the thing that is causing the problem, right? I'm not going to be filled with hatred. I'm not going to believe all of this. All of these people are like that. Like, look at the Middle East. Each group is trying to defend, they're trying to defend killing the other side. Like, but everybody needs to stand down, okay? And nobody should be being killed. But what's happening, and I see it in really reasonable people, depending on their ethnicity and the side they're backing, they're like, oh, well, they did this to us. Well, then they did this to us. Why is it so hard to see that if you keep, like, if people keep, it's like, oh, she slapped me first, so I'm going to slap her. Then she slaps me. Then I punch her. Clearly, most of you out there watching this, you get what I'm saying. Like, at some point, you have to just be like, okay, we stop. And like, how can we step back to peace? And yes, if people are going to choose violence, they need to be stopped. Okay, the society needs to agree the violence is not okay, but there needs to be equity, balance, fairness. Um, okay, but you can't. What I'm seeing a lot in social media, and I'm talking specifically Middle East now, but also it's definitely happening with Ukraine and Russia. Each side is defending themselves and why they should be able to do violence to another group that they consider lesser. Now, especially a lot of my audience, not all, but a lot of my audience are Black folks, and we can see how just our experience, especially in the US, we can see how this, like, this group is bad, and this sort of making the whole group bad. All right. Not everybody can see it still, but when you demonize a group, then you can treat them badly. You can treat them as subhuman. And so both sides in every conflict, and if it's more than two sides, needs to not do that. And it's very, and to just say, like, violence, it has to stop. Yeah. Yeah. Lydia, I'm going to put you up on there. Yes, and he is without, I know. And many people are, claiming using religious words and then still with the violence. Now, like I said, I'm not saying people don't have a right to defend themselves, but I think then, and I'm talking in any conflict here, you then have to look at your response. You have a right to defend yourself, but then how far beyond that do you go, especially if this is a continuing cycle? And that's where I'm saying it does become spiritual, because it becomes like, okay, we just have to really accept that this is not a way we can continue as humans. We're supposed to be. One of my teachers, he says we're God's highest form of creation, and yet I don't think we're living that. I don't think we're living that. But yeah, Michael says, yeah, thanks, Michael, for commenting. I put it up. I see the eclipse as a very positive experience. Where you say weird, I say special. I have experienced several and found each to be very unifying, aligning. Absolutely. Were you out in them though, Michael? Were you out in them and watched them? I'm curious. Yeah. Yeah, weird, special. It was special, but I felt the awe of it. That's what I would say. Like, it caused me to have a sense of awe. Special doesn't even capture it. I think that's why I use the word weird. Being in I think it was a full eclipse that I saw, or very close, the feeling was not like anything else I had experienced my entire life. So it was filled me with awe and a sense of being small relative to the cosmos. Yes, and you watch them. Well, that's great. And I'm giving what, like I said, most cultures see it as a time of, and again, not necessarily negative, but a time where we best serve ourselves as humans by being quiet, praying, meditation, and depending on how they relate it to the natural world. So yeah, yeah. I feel this one though, Michael. I do feel this one as a harbinger of oh, that's what I forgot to mention. I also felt the earthquake. And I know it's laughable. Give me like, did you feel the earthquake in New York City? I live hours out of New York City and I felt it. It was very, very subtle. And I have to tell you, because it was cute. I'm like, I want to say it went on for about 10 seconds. And I thought there's construction by where I live. Yeah, the reading space of 27 was overwhelming. Yeah, I mean, overwhelming, awe-inspiring, overwhelming, like, for sensitive people. So I thought it was construction. I looked out my window. I'm like, I would see usually a big truck like rolling or breaking. No. And I was like, I think that was an earthquake. And then guess what? It was so little that I just went about my business and talked to a friend on Zoom for an hour. I get off the Zoom. And then because I'm already on the computer and I see New York City mayor holds press conference about, about earthquake. And I was like, because, I mean, I grew up in New York. So like, there was an earthquake in New York. Oh my God. So just the funny point of, I didn't panic when I felt the earthquake. I panicked and like was stressed when I heard that it hit New York. Cause then well, probably just a fear of like how was the damage. But like I said, I'm many hours outside of New York City and I felt it. You didn't feel it, Gregory? If you were moving or even in the shower, because it was like 8 to 10 seconds, because I was sitting down and I was like, what? And I was like, what is happening? And I was like, that damn construction. So I felt it. So I'm going to join this, Michael. Again, I'm glad you're here, but I'm still going to join that happening. Yes, New York City is on a fault line, apparently. But even that, I'm sorry, it does just make me nervous. I'm just being honest here. This earthquake, New York City, right? When was this? Yesterday. So that was the 6th, and we have an eclipse coming. Now, I'm not saying they're scientifically connected. Okay. You scientific people come for me. I mean, there may be, but I'm saying spiritually and energetically, and things that we cannot explain, things that go bump in the night, because that's, it's not that common. Okay. I grew up in New York. I remember one earthquake when I was in New York, and you guys are going to laugh because I grew up literally in visual distance of the elevated train in the Bronx in New York City. Like I could see the train come in. So the earthquake's happening, and I think I was asleep. So I'm like, oh yeah, what was that? I think it was early morning, if I'm not mistaken, right? This was like maybe 20 years ago. And I was like, I think that was, because I live by the train, you guys. So why would I suddenly like be like, this doesn't happen every day. So I was like, I think that was an earthquake. So she felt it. Let me see. I love your comments. She felt it. Even because I think some people at the airport wouldn't feel it. Again, if you're walking, you wouldn't have felt it necessarily. But just like I'm saying with the eclipse, some people are more sensitive. Because yeah, people right by me, they're like, I didn't feel it. But some people did. So it's interesting. And so in the same way, I'm just saying, I think that energy is being stirred up. I think that there's like a sense of unrest. And if you, yeah, unifying, and they can. So to Michael's point, I do want to say something about, I think it will matter who you are, where you are, and your mindset. Michael, you may have missed it when I said that. I think if you're in the line of totality of an eclipse, it has a stronger effect on you. I also do believe it depends on planets in your chart. I do believe that affects us. Like where, when were you born? Where were the planets? Like, I do believe there are cosmic energies clearly, and I do think they affect us. I don't think we always know how they affect us. So I think it can be positive. You could do mantra chanting if that is your thing. Like I said, prayer, silently or audible, meditate, but I would stay inside during the time that it is literally happening. It doesn't mean the whole day. Okay? Yeah. Yeah, reverence and reflection. Yeah, that's a great way to put it. That is a great way to put it. Thank you. That's what I was trying to convey when I said that my friend who she just has a really wide circle, and she said a Native American friend who is still connected with her culture is like, yeah, it's a time, it's not a time for like cooking hot dogs and being like, yeah, oh wow, that's so cool. It's about reverence that these two great, planetary beings, this cosmic thing is happening, just to slow that shit down. Just slow it down is all I'm saying. Reflection, reverence, yeah. And not fear, not to be fearful, but I do think it will have an effect. It'll be interesting to see. um, I will probably be doing some chanting tomorrow during the specific time. I will be doing some work, I think, with the divine feminine. There is a chant that I do um, to a particular goddess. And then some folks who I follow, who, particular shaman or whatever, are saying, um, and if I want to go down this path, people, but yeah, stay positive. Absolutely. Yeah. I'm not fearful. Listen, it's fine to stay positive, but I'm like a deer, meaning like there's a deer, like think of a deer. It's like there are people hunting deer, for example. The deer, the sensitivity of the deer is its protection. Like it looks up, oh, okay, I need to jump, I need to run. Um, so actually, Goddess Lakshmi, but it isn't just like abundance. It is about happiness, joy, a fulfilling life, very much a feminine energy. And it's quite a long, it takes about, it's not quite long. I've done longer things. And maybe it takes about 7 minutes to chant. I will be doing that. I was thinking about opening it up as something where folks could join, but I'm just feeling like I'm not going to do that. It's almost too much for me. Yeah. Yeah, it's just and honest to God, when I do this particular practice, generally you're not supposed to get in super detail about your spiritual practice, like publicly, like kind of talking about it, and like so I'm gonna try to generally avoid doing that. But my day, everything goes smoother when I do this particular chant, even at night. As I told you guys, sometimes if I'm having, because I'm a night person, so I'm having trouble not sleeping. Typically I go to sleep and I fall right asleep, but I just go to sleep at like 1:30, 1 o'clock, 1:32. But if I do this chant at night, I'm like, oh, it's like it just rebalances. And so that's what I'll probably be doing. Not probably, that's what I will do tomorrow. Working with the goddess energy. And I'll definitely still, feel the time of the eclipse. So that's my recommendation to you guys, is to do something spiritual, something peaceful and spiritual. Basically, yeah, not to be afraid, but I wouldn't go out in it. And I also, so then to get into some folks' predictions, there's something up at Niagara Falls, just to put that out there, in the Northeast, and it's where it'll be totality. And many people are I would not do that. For example, why am I going to get in a car? Many towns are already declaring a state of emergency. Now, we all know in America, we can overstate it. Like even in New York City, you guys, like 2 inches of snow is like an emergency in New York City. Like, should we close the schools? Like, no, okay, it's okay. But this particular seer was saying the sign to do with water and the eclipse, like she wouldn't go to a place like Niagara Falls to go see this, Yeah, they do. Those two heavenly beings benefit every living thing on this earth. We ought to give it serious respect. Yeah. Oh, Gregory. This is so weird you said that. And then you guys, I have to go. I'm literally supposed to start teaching in like 5 minutes, which will be interesting. I may have to delay a smidge. Some traditions say don't eat or drink during the eclipse, meaning not the whole day. Some people fast the whole day, but literally while it's happening, do not like have a meal during that time or drink during that time. Okay. On that note, I got to run. I did not realize I was gabbing for so long. Let me know how it goes for you. And again, the energy continues to unfold over time, right? There's like a window of time. And so we'll see. But like I said, I do feel like there's going to be increased intensity and potential conflict um, continuing. And especially because of the way it's happening, the US, right? It's impacting the United States. Someone, I was going to actually read you some stuff. Someone was saying, interestingly, because it crosses from Mexico into the US, they feel, and this is someone I really respect, indicates continuing problems with immigration and refugees coming into the country from the southern border, right? Because literally the eclipse cuts through, like again, Mexico and cuts across. So I thought, oh, that's interesting. That is very interesting, right? And we know how contentious that is for many people, the immigration, or not even, people coming into the country, and how agitated that gets a lot of people. So, and that eclipse cuts that path. So I'm just saying, you know, the more spiritually balanced you can stay, the better. So much respect and blessings to you as well. Be well. Bye bye.